This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 11. And it reads, Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Wakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. Once again, this is your brother Ayashal Barazal from the Indianapolis camp of the Great Millstone, coming at you with another quick and hopefully edifying lesson. All right, today is the 3rd of July, 2022. Last Thursday, the 30th of June, there was a Facebook article that came out, and let me get that for you right here, regarding the assassination history of Alberta Christine Williams King, who was Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. All right, and I want to read this. This is from Fannie Lou Hamer's America on a page on Facebook. All right, and it starts out on June 30th, 1974. Alberta Christine Williams King was shot to death as she sat at the organ at Ebenezer Salakia Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, 6 years after her son, Martin Luther King Jr., was assassinated. Mrs. King married the senior King on Thanksgiving Day, 1926, and later founded the Ebenezer Baptist Church Choir. She played a significant role in the day-to-day affairs of the church and served as the church organist from 1932 to 1972. Outside of her work at Ebenezer, Mrs. King was the organist for the Women's Auxiliary of the National Baptist Convention from 1950 to 1962. She was also active in the YWCA, the NAACP, and the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. On June 30th, a lone gunman, 23-year-old Wayne Chenault, a black man from Ohio who had adopted the theology of the black Hebrew Israelites, entered the church and shot Mrs. King with two guns. Chenault said his original target had been Martin Luther King Sr., but he decided to shoot King's wife instead because she was near him. He also killed one of the church's deacons, Edward Boykin, in the attack, and Mrs. Jimmy Mitchell, a retired school teacher, suffered a wound to the neck. All right. The point here I want to point out is they made the point that he adopted the theology of the black Hebrew Israelites. Number one, there's no such thing as black Hebrew Israelites. Black is a social construct, and we say all the time and make it clear, we are shades of brown. And because we were scattered to the four corners of the earth, we may look like the heathens. No, we do look like the heathens, as a matter of fact, Slakia. We do look like the heathens of other nations where we were scattered to. No one in this world is black, okay? And there's a certain connotation that comes with that word. If you go into the etymology of the word, it pretty much means everything negative, okay? We are shades of brown, okay, primarily. Shades of brown. No one is black, okay? And you will not find black Hebrew Israelite anywhere in the Bible. That is something that has been the narrative that has been set by the Anti-Defamation League, and I will get to them shortly, okay? So they're saying that he adopted a theology. Number one, there's no theology of the black Hebrew Israelites, okay? No such thing. There is a heritage of the Hebrew Israelites, okay, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Bible. You know, we use the 1611 KJV as our primary source, and then, you know, other things in secular history that prove what's in the scriptures, okay? It is not a theology. This is our heritage, okay? Hebrew Israelites. It is our heritage, okay? Not a theology, all right? There's no study of it. This is something that's by a bloodline, the seed line of Jacob, as you will find in Genesis 35, verses 9 through 12. Okay? Out of the loins of Jacob, it is a seed line, it is a heritage. We are a chosen people of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, according to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. All right? The chosen people. So, but they're saying here that he was a part of the theology of the Black Hebrew Israelites, and what's key here, this is how they're beginning to set the narrative. Within the last 5 or 6 years, you've seen a lot of false flags come out. The shooting in New Jersey, the one a few years ago, where each time they told a story, the people changed. Okay, and it died really quickly, especially when they saw someone of the so-called Jewish community doing their own graffiti. Okay, that died down real quick, but they're still pushing this narrative, and I'm going to get to the reason why. All right, so I'm going to find another source here. This is on Wikipedia. Same thing. Okay, this is Alberta Christine Williams King, September 13th, 1904 to June 30th, 1974, was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mother, married to Martin Luther King Sr. She played a significant role in the affairs of the Ebenezer Baptist Church. She was shot and killed in the church by Marcus Wayne Chenault, a 23-year-old black Hebrew Israelite, 6 years after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, so here it is. It's on Wikipedia. It's on Facebook. So what I decided to do was to go and find another source. And this source here, get this to come up. This is from The Guardian. And it's dated Tuesday, July 1st, 2014. Okay, it's a little over 8 years ago. All right, and it starts out: the 70-year-old mother of the late Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights leader who was assassinated 6 years ago, was herself shot and killed today as she played the organ for morning service in the Ebenezer Baptist Church in the center of Atlanta, Georgia. Her assailant, a young black man who eyewitnesses said went berserk and who was later reported to have said that all Christians were his enemies, was held by members of the church choir after he had wounded two other members of the congregation, one of them fatally. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. All links to the articles that I present will be part of the description box, okay? Will be located in there. But here in 2014, they just simply call him a young black man, okay? Now, what started this? This is was started by your FBI when they came up with the term black identity extremists, okay? It's now called Operation Iron Fist. Pretty much they only changed the name because they got grilled in Congress by Congresswoman Carolyn Bass, okay? And the thing is, they said that the biggest threat than Al Qaeda and white supremacists, okay? To date, they have not, planted any bombs anywhere. When they say white supremacists, how is that? How is that so? Everything that the KKK has done, you have no record of Hebrew Israelites going around terrorizing people, hanging people. They're on the street corners, on YouTube, preaching the Bible. Okay. All right. Now, not everyone preaches the same way as we do. We preach the 100% truth based on the information that we have. Okay. And that's not the case with other camps. But for the most part, um, the Hebrew Israelites are teaching the Bible on the corners and on YouTube. You know, there is no record of them going around terrorizing people, lynching people. They come straight from the scriptures. Okay. Now, the FBI, of course, and we have to call it for what it is. It is a government entity that has constantly, always been against the nation of Israel. Okay, not African Americans. Okay, the nation of Israel, your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, calling them a bigger threat. How is that? How is that? It's impossible. You cannot find any history of Hebrew Israelites doing such things. Okay, going around lynching people, you know, bombing churches. Okay, you will not find any history of that. But I'll get to that later and why they're doing this. Okay, let's go down here. And the reason why I say that the difference between those dates, they issued that report in August of 2017. Okay. And right here it says an internal FBI report from August 2017 was widely criticized for using the BIE label, which many call racist. But the Consolidated Strategy Guide documents leaked this week. The FBI kept the term and made BIEs one of its top counterterrorism priorities. Okay? People who do not cause any terror are now your top counterterrorism priorities. Okay, and it's interesting. Around this time last year, I forget exactly what the video was, but I know our beloved elder Apostle Aramla was doing a video, and he was able to cut to a live feed of a congressional hearing where at that moment one of the congressmen introduced the names of the Black Hebrew Israelites as one of the terrorist organizations. Really? Okay. So right now, right then, they were setting that narrative and pushing that narrative. Okay. And the reason why they're doing that, they understand the scriptures. Okay. They understand the scriptures clearly. And the reason why they're pushing that narrative, because they already know Judah, the so-called Negroes of America, is going to be that head tribe that Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, will use to exact his vengeance on the nation of Edom. You'll find that in Ezekiel chapter 25, verses 12 through 14, Joel 3 and 19, okay? And also in Zechariah 2, all right? You're going to find it there, Zechariah 2, 8 and 9, I believe, okay? He's going to raise up his people to do that, And, they know when Judah raises up, it's going to be trouble, and they know it. That's why they're pushing this narrative right now. Like Bernie Mac, his voice from the movie Players Club, he said, when Judah raises up, it's going to be trouble, trouble, trouble. And that's what they know. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they're setting the narrative to come after us right now. Okay. But everybody knows that, you're going to have the low-level Edomites who just want to have someone to blame, okay, and these elites, they really know what's going on. So, they're trying to make us a scapegoat when the whole world sees that they're the ones conducting all of the evil on the earth. We're not in control of anything. We're waiting on Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai to deliver us, okay? And he told us not to take matters in our own hands because vengeance was his, according to the scriptures. If we stepped out there alone without him, there's, pretty much nothing he can do for us. We're going to be caught up because we were not obedient. The ones who are preaching the true doctrine, okay, truly know that Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, is going to exact his vengeance upon Edom by our hand. But he's going to do that. We don't make that decision to go out and do that, all right? And for that reason, we have to, be on our best behavior and do everything according to the scriptures, okay? According to how he's commanded us to operate. And let me get that in Ephesians. Let's see here. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. And it reads, verse 15, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Okay, and when it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, that's telling us to be careful. Okay, not as fools, and being wise, and that wise is the present tense of wisdom. Okay, and that's the thing. Wisdom is the principal thing according to the scriptures. And how do we get that wisdom? You know, according to the scriptures. You know, being obedience to the law, statutes, and commandments, and following the ways as he told us to. And one of those ways was not going out and exacting vengeance on our own. Okay, he says, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. You know, you have to watch, learn, understand. You know, take a measure of the time. You know, like the scriptures say, measure the time diligently. Okay, because the days are evil. Okay, and that evil, you know, eve meaning time, and ill meaning bad times. That's what evil is. Okay, so we have to be very careful out here in these last days, you know, as we do the work for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And why is that? 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3. That is because and it reads, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. Okay? Giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. Okay? That's why you don't see the men of GMS at camps, you know, armed. You don't see them, you know, posted on social media, at the gun range, you know, doing things to draw attention to ourselves. No, we're going 100% according to the scriptures, okay? All we do is preach the word and warn the hopeful elect of Israel, doing that work, okay? Whether it be a video epistles or on the highways and byways, okay? We give no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed, okay? However, those false flags and the actual camps that are armed, you know, having weaponry and stuff, you know, what they're doing is helping Esau Edom, you know, the government set the narrative for what they call the black identity extremists, which in that category are named the black Hebrew Israelites, which is a false name, okay? It's just simply Hebrew Israelites, because they consist of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and no one is black, okay? No one is the color black. For that same reason, no one is white, okay? White means without moral impurity. And if you check the track record of the so-called white man, Esau Edom, without moral impurity is the furthest thing from his character. You know, bestiality, kissing animals in the mouth, you know, just a whole bunch of wickedness, witchcraft, you know, everything. Okay, there's nothing pure about that nation. They were created to be the wicked, and they are as such. Okay, and I'll get that. Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13. And it reads, consider the work of Yahweh, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? All right? Yeah, so, you know, that is a crooked nation of people. No matter how you slice and dice it, no matter how much Jake tries to, you know, be hand in hand with them, they are crooked. As the scriptures tell us to never trust thine enemy, you know. Wickedness, you know, like it says, they're just wicked. You know, they wear violence as a garment, okay? So Those constructs of black and white do not fit either one. All right. So here again, they're trying to set this narrative because they eventually want to take the prophets off of the streets. Okay, because they're teaching that truth. Okay, you have these agents set up. You have the actual camps doing the things that they are doing. Like I said, they were, posting pictures of, being at the gun range, being fully armed at their camps when they're just supposed to be preaching the word. Okay. But that's all a setup to take the prophets off of the streets, the real prophets. Okay. And for that reason, because this truth is killing them. Okay. As the scriptures say, this word cuts like a two-edged sword, really bad. And they are hurt by this word. They are hurt by these scriptures, okay, because the truth is coming out. All right, let me get Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 21. And it reads, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Okay, let me read that again. That Isaiah chapter 29, verse 21. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just thing for naught. So what they're going to do eventually is, make it against the law to preach the Bible. And in some cases, that's happening already. In California, they want to wipe it out. And some social media platforms, you cannot use the scriptures that talk about the alphabet community. Okay. And they lay a trap for him that reproveth in the gate. And who is that him? That's the prophets. Okay. For rebuking them, telling them their transgressions, telling them their wickedness. Okay. They don't like to be told that. But it is what it is. That is our job, week in and week out on the highways and byways and on these video epistles as well, okay? And it says, and turn aside a just thing for naught. So what they want to do is turn the truth as meaningless, that it means nothing, okay? But it's interesting that they do that, okay? Because the most revered president of this United States is Ronald Reagan, okay? What did he do? Okay, via executive order, this was February 3rd, 1983, proclamation number 5018. He made the Bible the law of the land via executive order. Okay, I'll put that in the description box too. So when he did that, I guess he never fathomed that the true people of the Bible were going to be able to understand, its meanings, be able to interpret it. They figured, well, we had them in captivity, destroyed their heritage, they didn't know how to read or write. They'll never figure it out, okay? But Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai said he would never cast his people away. He said, in the land of their captivities, they will remember themselves and think upon his name and praise him, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. So what he thought he was doing to totally destroy us, no. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai had other plans. Okay. That's not the case. Okay. So even though, there will come a time when there's a famine of the word, according to Amos chapter 8, this is going to be part of that. You're going to make a man an offender for the word, and they're offended because we're telling them their truth. That's who Esau Edom is, always playing the victim, going all the way back to the blessing. He sold his birthright, and once he realized what he didn't have, he started crying about it. All right, that's just the nature of that nation of people. All right, so yeah, that's just the way it is. Okay, and the thing is, here again, we have to be circumspect as a people. Do exactly what he told us to do. Like he says, obedience is better than any sacrifice. Okay, Do exactly what he told us to do. That's to preach this word again, week in and week out on the highways and byways. And not only preach it, we have to live it as well too. We can't be hypocrites. Okay? That's how your light shines. We cannot be hypocrites. All right? So, continuing on with this um, whole thing about this black Hebrew Israelites, I said earlier that it was the Anti-Defamation League who started that, the ADL. Okay? And here we go, right here. Extremist sects within the black Hebrew Israelite movement. Okay? And they're the ones setting this narrative. This is the same organization who quickly, like within 24 hours, changed the definition of racism because Whoopi Goldberg told the truth, saying that the fight between Russian and the Ukrainians, and also the same thing with World War II, was white on white crime. Within 24 hours, they changed that definition. Okay? So that just goes to show you when it's something that doesn't fit their narrative or lend to them, they'll go and change it. And that's the thing here. They want to let's get down here. They have some key points here. Black Hebrew Israelites are not the same as black Jews or Jews of color. That doesn't make any sense. Again, no such thing as black. Okay, and if you are a Jew, you're a Jew by blood. Out of the loins of Jacob, according to Genesis 35, 9 through 12. Let me just get that so you'll see it for yourself. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 35, beginning at verse 9. And it reads, And Yahweh appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Pandanaram and blessed him. And Yahweh said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. Verse 11. And Yahweh said unto him, I am Yahweh Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. Okay? That's seed line. Okay? Your loins. From your testicles, sperm. Okay? Verse 12. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee I will give the land. So it is a bloodline. There's no such thing as spiritual Israelites. You cannot be grafted in, as most people want to say. And that Jew and Greek that's spoken of in Galatians 3 and 29, just read on up in verses 16 through 18. You have to be an Israelite by blood, out of the seed line of Jacob. All right? So, getting back to that Anti-Defamation League post, here's another point. Not all black Hebrew Israelite organizations are anti-Semitic or extremist. Well, first, number one, how can you be anti-Semitic when you are Shemitic? That's impossible. Okay, that term anti-Semitic, as I did in another video a while back, is only 143 years old. Okay, and it was made exclusive to the Jewish people today, who was a biblical tribe of Amalek. Okay, all right. So you can't be anti-Semitic when you are Shemitic. That's the dumbest crap I ever heard of. All right. And you can keep going down here. Here again, once again, they keep saying black Hebrews, black Hebrews. And here's a point here. Followers who are also referred to as the black Hebrews or Hebrew Israelites. That's all it is. Hebrew Israelites believe that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. And that's, that's a fact. That's a fact. Okay? They are. But there is no such thing as black Hebrew Israelite. Okay? So let's get that squared away. So, and this is the Anti-Defamation League who is saying these things. All right. I'll put this link in the description box too, because I want to get to who the Anti-Defamation League is and made up of. Here's your top two people. Okay. The CEO and National Director, Jonathan Greenblatt. You trace his surname back. He goes back to Ashkenazi Jew, okay? Which is the tribe of Amalek. The same line of people who not only financed the transatlantic slave trade, but they own the ships, okay? The next person, Ben Sachs. You trace his surname back, okay? He goes back to the Dutch, okay? And history will tell you they were the most brutal to Judah during the transatlantic slave trade, the most brutal. So you have the top two individuals of this organization that goes back to the very line of people that were the worst to us, that have us in the condition that we're in right now. Okay, and if you keep scrolling down, straight Edomites, okay. Epstein, I know that name, is one of those imposter names, okay? Kaufman is another one. Lazowski is another one. And then look what we have here. An apparent Eve, okay? And she is now the face of white supremacy against our own people. Not surprising there, okay? Keep going. Edomites. Apparent Edomites, apparent Edomites, apparent Edomites. Sing, that maybe, I think that goes back to the Indian name. And here again, we know they had us in slavery as well, too. Again, Edomite, okay? And look at this here. Special Advisor for Global Affairs, Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, okay? So we know where he stands with the elites, okay? So there you have it with those. Now, let's get back. I'm going to try to get it to a close here. Let's get the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. Beginning at verse 14. All right, and this is the wicked speaking of the nation of Israel. Esau Edom speaking of the nation of Israel. He, being the nation of Israel, was made to reprove our thoughts. All right, that's to rebuke them for the stuff that they think and do. Okay, he is grievous unto us, even to behold. That goes back to that birthright. They know we're going to be ruling over them, and when the new world comes, according to 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Okay, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, for his life is not like other men's; his ways are of another fashion. That's because we were only the nation of people given the Bible, or the laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, according to Leviticus 26:46 and Psalms 147 verse 19 and 20. Okay, and that Psalms 147, 19, and 20 makes it very clear, it was only given to the nation of Israel, and he has not done so with any other nation because they have not known his judgments. And how have they not known his judgments? According to Amos 3, 1 and 2. And I'm roughly paraphrasing, we being Israel, the only family that he's known, that's why he has punished us for our iniquities and our transgressions, okay? You'll find that in Amos 3, 1 and 2. Okay, that's what it means when it says our life is not like other men's, our ways are of another fashion. Okay, And on top of those things I just mentioned, we're the only nation that's going to be coming into everlasting life. Okay, having those godlike bodies again, the celestial bodies. Okay, we will be as gods, just like it says in Psalms 82 and 6. Okay, going on, verse 16. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. And yes, you know, you are as counterfeits. You know, the whole nation of Edom, you know, you're a counterfeit ruler. You know, you're not a good ruler. Okay. And counterfeits of the people who are impersonating us, the tribe of Amalek in the state of Israel right now. Okay. You know you're not the people. It says it's supposed to be 12 tribes. You have one over there, you know, and if you are the people, you know, you don't match up to a whole lot of things in the scriptures, okay? Number one, it says all 12 tribes are supposed to be there, when just this past summer, you kicked out people from Israel after they fought in your war. You have to have fought in the Israeli army to have residency for 2 years. You kick those people out, okay? Going on in verse 16, he abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. That's right. You know, Job, I believe it's 30 and 8, says you're children of fools, base man, more violent than the earth, roughly paraphrasing. You know, Job also said up in verse 1 of chapter 30, he wouldn't even have his dog sit next to you, okay? In essence, yes, we you know, the true people, the elect men, abstained from you as you're filthy, okay? And what's a synonym for filthiness? Unclean, okay? We're supposed to stay away from unclean things, and we will stay away from unclean things, all right? And it goes on. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh boast that Yahweh is his father. Okay, and that's true. You know, Joel 2:27, roughly paraphrasing, he says, I am the Yahweh thy power. I'm in the midst of Israel, none else. Okay, my people shall never be ashamed. Yeah, yeah, that's what he said, and that's what the elect have faith in believing. Okay, and that's what we do. We shout that from the highways and byways every week. He is only the God of Israel. All right, and that's just the way it is. All right, verse 17. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. Okay, and that here again, what they're doing is setting narratives right now. You know, calling us a terrorist group when you know there is no record of that. You can't find the history of the Hebrew Israelites comparing to the white supremacist group nowhere, no way, no shape or form. Okay. But here again, they know the scriptures. They read the scriptures. They know who Judah is. And they know that Judah will be the head tribe that will exact vengeance upon them. Okay? When that day comes. All right? And it says, verse 18, for if the just man be the son of Yahweh, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. And yes, that's going to happen. Because when you come after us, here's what's going to happen. And this is Isaiah chapter 59. Verse 9. And it reads, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh, and that they is the adversaries of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, who are the same adversaries of the nation of Israel. Okay? So they shall fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. And we know that the sun rises in the east. Okay, so that means from coast to coast. Okay, they're gonna fear his name. Okay, as Malachi 1 and 14 says, the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is dreadful among the heathen. Okay, it's a terror unto them. All right. Starting back from the top. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, The spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. And that's that spiritual power coming in. Okay? Those superheroes that, DC and Marvel um, perpetuate, get all of your interest in. Okay? That's that's going to be the nation of Israel. Okay? Your real life Superman. Okay? Your real life Superman. And that's what's going to happen. It's like I swear, they put it right in front of our faces. Speaking of Superman, his name is Kal-El, and how they, meshed that. They used the ancient Paleo Hebrew Kal, and then El, when it's supposed to be Allah. Okay, so it's just how they put it right in front of your face. All right, but here again, you know. The narrative has been set with this black Hebrew Israelite thing. They're going to use this to demonize us, until the very end. But here again, just like I just read, the moment they put their hands on the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, he's going to raise up that standard, and they're going to wish they had never touched this. All right? With that said, I hope this lesson was edifying for the body. Once again, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird. To you, I say Shalom, Abba Babal, Salakia, Kwam Yasharallah.